Okay, I've got an assortment of tape measures here, and every manufacturer, they're all similar, but there may be some differences with them. This is a really old one. I've got a little small one, and this is fairly typical of most of them in that. Oh, that's my focus. Let me zoom in. Okay. Most tape measures are going to be, this one is like divisions in 1/8 of an inch and then 1/16 of an inch. And that's fairly common for most of them, okay? Here's another one, a little smaller one. This one is a self-locking, and you may find this in some of them in that when you pull it out, it just locks, and then you have to mash the button to get it back in. And this one, you can see it's in divisions of 1/16 of an inch on both top and bottom. Then once you get out past 1 foot, then you've got your mark of 1 foot 1 inch, 1 foot 2 inch, like so forth, like that. You will find the marks every 16 inches will have an indicator of some kind. This one's got the red box on it, because most wall studs and floor joists and things are put at 16 inches on center. Some will have this mark at like 19.2 something. That's a real unusual on center measurement, but it is used on occasion. That's that one. This one's made by Husky. It's it does not lock in place, so you have a thumb lock there that you slide down and it will lock it in place. So if we look at this one, it's got your regular 1/16 inch divisions across the top, and then on the bottom, the fractions are actually numbered. I don't know if I can focus any better. That's probably about as good as we get. So they're actually numbered in 1/8 of an inch, so 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, like that. And then also, the 1 foot mark. And you see with this one, it doesn't say how many feet. It just repeats, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, like that. And then the 16 on center and the 19.2. Okay. This one, and a 25 foot is the most common size used, in construction, but they come in all kinds of different sizes. This one does not, it's not self-locking, so you have to lock it down. And this one is unique in that it's got the fractions down one side, and these are 1/16 of an inch divisions with 1/8 inch fractions marked. And then across the top, it has the decimals of an inch, which is not common, but it is out there. And you notice the numbers. The numbers are they're kind of rotated in line with the tape measure. And then you've got the at the 1 foot mark, the 16 is in red inches, like that. Okay, so they're all fairly common in that way. Now, one thing about tape measures is the end slides, and it's supposed to slide. So if you're measuring butting up against something, it goes in, and then that's your measurement out from the face of the slide or the face of the object. If you're measuring hooking it on something and pulling out, then it slides out, and then now you're measuring from the face of the object or the inside of the slide. And especially if you get an older tape measure, you kind of check that, make sure it's not too big, and a way to do that, I'll use my my compass case here. So if I were to put this up against the face and push that into it, it's reading just a little bit over 7 3/4 of an inch, just a little bit. I know you can't see that very well, but looking down on it, it's and you got you got to keep your tape measure kind of parallel to the surface of whatever you're measuring, because if you're up and then measuring down, it's going to throw your measurement off. And so this is, it's more than 3/4, but not quite 13/16. And so if I hook on the end of my my case here and measure, and I look down on it, I'm reading the same measurement there. The tape measures, they're pretty simple to use, okay? And you're going to have a couple of exercises in the lab to where I have probably this kind of tape measure. These are the kind that I've got in the lab. And so I have a couple of objects that you'll need to measure, okay? And then put your answers down. And one of the things, like this one, it's really kind of beveled on the edge right there. So depending upon how accurate you're trying to be, you want to make sure that your hook is on the actual object and not like up on the edge where it's beveling off. So that's tape measures. Okay, so this little video is about this electronic measuring device, electronic tape measure, if you will. There's a lot of different types available, okay? This is the one that we got a couple of them in the lab, and you're gonna experiment with it just to use it a little bit, because it comes in handy when you're measuring overall room sizes and you just need to get some quick measurements and things. And so they're all going to be different, so you need to read the instructions on it. You can change the units, you can clear it out. This one you can actually do area and volume calculations, but excuse me, we're not going to mess with that. The way it works is you press the base of this up against, like, we'll say one wall. And I'll say this is my wall here, okay? So you press that up against the wall or the floor, you know, if you're going to go up to the ceiling. And then you press the read button. And it sends out a wave and it comes back, and so that tells me it's 2 foot 4 inches. So I know you can't see that very well in the video. So just for giggles, I'm going to check that with a tape measure and see what it says. All right, 2 foot 4 inches and 1/16. So, like I said, it will go to higher fractions and stuff, but that's a quick and easy way to use these things. One thing I would recommend against is not looking in the barrel when it reads. Okay, don't aim it, you know, at other people's faces, whatever. And I'm not sure how it would work against glass or really shiny surfaces that you're trying to read back from. So reading against a window may not work very well. But we'll have a couple of exercises here in the lab, places for you to measure from, you know, one wall to the other wall in the lab, so you can try it out and see how it works.